All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Well, I got a burr under my saddle.
We talk, you listen.
Somebody that's going to take an innocent life is not mentally insane?
You know them.
Time to nut up or shut up.
You love to hate them.
It's the Denton and Sasquatch Show.
Can I bring my AR-15 next time?
Sure.
Yes.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
You can't handle the truth.
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch Show, coming to you both from California and Alabama. My name is Sasquatch here in California, and my pal, my buddy, my partner, not like gay partner, but my partner, Denton, is in Alabama. How you doing, dude?
I'm fine, but I thought we were gay.
Oh, well, we are happy.
Yes, we're not homosexuals. I just want to clarify that. I'm not.
I do not want to see you naked, that's for sure.
Nobody does. Pasty white 54-year-old. Yeah, that's not something you want to see. Anyhow, how's everything going out in Crazy Land, California?
Oh, it's as crazy as always. I've got some actual stuff to talk about here in California land, but it's going all right.
Oh, good. Everything's normal here. That's it.
which is relative.
Yeah. No, that would be Mississippi.
Oh, one thing I did want to talk about real quick right off the bat. I mentioned this on Prepper Forums, but there's a movie on Amazon Prime called Agenda. So if you're sort of new to this whole politics thing and you want to watch something that will really kind of open your eyes and show you what is going on with the liberal left, watch Agenda on Amazon Prime.
Okay. What if I don't have Amazon Prime?
Then you're screwed.
No. Well, all right then.
I don't know if there's any other place you can find it, maybe on YouTube, something like that, but I watched it on Amazon Prime, and it just basically shows communism, socialism, and how the liberals fit into that.
You talk about globalism?
Yeah, a little bit of that, but
okay.
It is just, I mean, liberalism, progressivism is communism, basically.
Yeah.
And they just kind of lay it out and show you how it all works.
Well, we'll put that on our list of things to do. I bet you I can find it on YouTube, or at least big chunks of it.
Or you could always watch, what was that show? The space show on Netflix.
Lost in Space?
Yeah, the remake of Lost in Space.
Yeah, it's been kind of lame.
It is a little slow.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's jump into this. What do you got to say? What you said something about you had some news from California?
Yeah, well, election time is coming up, and you're always getting bombarded with campaign commercials and things like that. And they've been running this one. It's about education. Let me play this really quick, and then we'll just talk about it.
California's neighborhood public schools are supposed to prepare all of our children for the future. Kind of obvious, right? Well, not to a group of billionaires. Billionaires with no experience in our classrooms, paying to push their education agenda on the rest of us. Billionaires with a coordinated agenda. First, divert money out of California's neighborhood public schools to fund privately run charter schools without accountability to taxpayers. Second, cherry-pick the students who get to attend these charter schools, weeding out and turning down students with special needs. And third on the billionaires' agenda, spend millions trying to influence your local legislative and school board elections across California. They've spent a record $11 million already, pressuring their chosen candidates to divert even more money away from your neighborhood schools. Public education should be about kids, not profits. Learn more about the billionaires' agenda at kidsnotprofits.com. Paid for by the California Teachers Association.
There you go. They're talking about charter schools. That is the California Teachers Association that put that commercial out. And basically, they're against charter schools.
Well, of course they are. They don't want a charter school competing with their liberal indoctrination.
Exactly. And everything in that commercial that I just played was basically a lie.
But it sounded so believable.
Well, of course it did. I kept thinking about this whole topic, so I did a little bit of research and I found these things out. In 2018, basically California is 40th in education out of 50 states. In 2018, they're spending $74 $0.6 billion on education in California. Now, in 2012, they spent $47.3 billion. So you can see it's gone up since then. Well, they were 33rd in 2012.
Yeah, but they only dropped 7.
So
I mean, no matter which state you're talking about, the Japanese still kick our butts all over the place.
well, yeah, they do. But I find it funny that California is spending even more money now and has gotten worse. I mean, they're throwing more money at the problem. One of the other things I found is California ranks 47th in science. That's only above Mississippi, Alabama, and D.C. So you guys need to start working on your science over there.
Oh, yeah. Always pick on the Southerners, whatever.
There are 6,900 charter schools around the nation. The thing that cracks me up is in California, they spend over 50% of their budget on salaries. Mm-hmm. So, they keep crying and screaming that, we don't have materials for the kids and we don't have this and we don't have that. It's like, well, because you're putting it all towards the salaries.
Well, here's the thing. You don't understand the military-industrial complex.
All right.
Okay, now, and may I first be the first one to say, long live the Plex. I make a living off the Plex. Okay? But it's important to understand the military-industrial complex. It's not about, it's not about productivity. It's not about getting the job done. It's not about anything like that. It's about getting the money from the big pot of gold, wherever it is, or the money tree, the government money tree, and spreading it around. Now, they can't just say, okay, we're the military-industrial complex corporations. We're taking this gob of money out of that pot, and it's all ours, mine. No, they can't. They have to play the game. They have to build aircraft, build ships, have to maintain, they have contracts to maintain these aircraft and ships. Now, you would think that they would want to do it in the most expeditious manner, right? No. That's not how it works. It works better for the corporations if you have to hire 40 people to do what 10 people should be able to do, because they're getting paid for each one of those heads.
Yes.
All right. So if you look at from a military-industrial complex point of view, which it's not the military-industrial complex, but if you look at it from the same direction, that's why you keep on getting more and more money thrown into the California education system, and it's going further and further down the hole. Uh-huh. The most important thing is the money's being taken from somewhere and given to somebody, and in this case, the teachers union as well as the teachers.
Yeah,
so there.
And the bloated staff above the teachers, the management and all that. I mean, they make tons of money.
Superintendents, some of those people.
Yeah, and I just thought it was funny because in that commercial, they said, the charter schools have no accountability. And it's like, well, that's a total lie. You have no accountability because you've been doing a crappy job for years and you're only getting worse. So where's the accountability in that?
The public education has no accountability. They have the monopoly. They get your money and they spend it. And you can sit there and fuss and cuss and do everything you want, and they don't care because guess what? You can't stop them from getting the money. Now, corporate schools, those little charter schools, you have control over the charter schools by taking your kid out or putting your kid into it. Well, that's how you have control. That is a free market right there.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. These charter schools are taking money from the other schools because, you get a set amount of money per child. So if his butt isn't in a seat in a public school, it's in a charter school, and they're not getting the money. Mm-hmm. I found it funny in the commercial, too. It said, these billionaires have spent a record $11 million already. Okay, well, for billionaires, $11 million is a drop in the bucket. But to counter what they said, I also found out that Jerry Brown, in his budget this year, set aside $50 million for illegal immigrants facing deportation.
What, he's going to buy buses to take them to the border? What is he talking about?
No, for counsel, for lawyers.
For counsel?
Yes.
Oh, so you had to pay $50 million, you and the rest of you are paying $50 million to give illegal aliens legal counsel to stay here.
Yes. So, if you're going to cry about these billionaires spending $11 million just on commercials, why aren't you crying about the $50 million that could be put towards the schools for supplies and things like that the kids need, rather than it being given to illegals? But they don't want to tell you about that.
Of course not. No, they want you to continue to send pencils and paper. And y'all over there, you have to take reams of paper.
Oh, yeah. The kids have to. I mean, there's like my nephews have a list at the beginning of school. All this crap they have to bring to school that we just went to school and it was there.
Well, wasn't that the way with me? I remember we had to chip in and do things. But even as a kid, I'm thinking, this is the government. Why are we having to support this crap? I mean, we should go there, and the government has my pencil right there.
Well, because you're paying for their salaries. That's basically
I guess so.
I mean, I didn't have a lot to say on this, but I find it funny that they're complaining about the charter schools because it's taking money away from the teachers' unions.
Well, the unions are the most powerful group in the country.
They are, and I'm really hoping this SCOTUS decision takes care of that.
We shall see. But on the other side of the country, there's some more insanity.
Of course.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the state called Maine. It's so far away from your state. It's way up in the Northeast. And you would think, because we're talking about an area where that's the foundation of the country, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You would think that Maine and New Jersey and New York would be the strongholds, the bastions of common sense, Christianity, and constitutional ways of thinking, right?
You would think.
Well, then you haven't been in this country for a couple of centuries. So, here we have a story. All but 2 Democrats in the Maine House of Representatives reportedly voted down a legislative bill that would have outlawed a barbaric form of genital mutilation known as female circumcision. Have you ever heard of female circumcision?
I have, and it's pretty nasty.
It is, and it is practiced by Presbyterians. No, wait, no.
The Jews.
The Jews. No, wait, no. Oh, wait, yeah, the Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After letting the bill sit and almost expire, 72 Democrats decided on the last day of the legislative session to vote in favor of scrapping the bill, meaning female genital mutilation will continue to be permitted in Maine. Why?
Time to move out of Maine.
In the hell? I mean, because it's not like 30-year-olds, women that are electing. This is not an elective surgical procedure for old women. Now, I'm not saying 30-year-olds are old. I'm just saying compared to 13-year-olds.
Yeah, and I know there are people out there that are going to say, "Oh, well, Christianity has circumcision," and it's like, well, yes, they do, but people that get circumcised don't usually die, and this female circumcision, a lot of those girls die.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And plus, as far as the Christianity male circumcision thing, it's kind of a throwover from the Jewish ritual, whatever you call it. And on top of that, it's a medical standpoint. It's supposed to be cleaner, less infection, whatever. But that is to remove the woman's enjoyment of sex.
Yes.
So where are all the female social justice warriors? Where are they? They should be coming out of the woodwork to scream their full heads off about this.
You would think so.
But they're not. Because they are so selective.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of their politics kind of cross over into other things and go against what they say in one argument, so they just have to kind of shut up about certain things.
Speaking of Muslims, in Egypt, I like that segue. Muslims shouting Allahu Akbar, smash churches' doors and windows, throw stones at Christian homes. Now, this is from the Geller Report. You've ever heard of Pamela Geller?
I believe I know the name, yes.
Yeah, she's a spitfire, I'll tell you that. Largely ignored by mainstream media and Western politicians is the relentless persecution and slaughter of Christians in the Middle East. Christians continue to be slaughtered in Egypt on a regular basis, but the world yawns. The Muslim persecution of Christians in the Middle East has decimated centuries-old communities and has the Christians of Egypt living under constant threat, and all the media ever talks about is Islamophobia. Now, how long is it going to be? I mean, because there's not going to be any cruise missile strikes in Egypt. Okay, if you read this article, it's clear that the Muslims and the police are working together to destroy churches, to destroy storefronts owned by Christians, to even kill Christians. This This is what will come to America if we're not careful. Now, you go to Maine, and they're good with female genital mutilation. Okay, how long will it be the way these retards, these dolts, can't say retard anymore, I got scolded for that. These dolts who are okay with this are going to, they're going to let us be overrun by this kind of crap here because they think they're in some kind of hand-in-hand relationship with Sharia.
Well,
don't get it.
We've already got proof of this in Britain. Wasn't there just an article that came out a few weeks ago saying that the murder rate in Britain is higher than it's ever been? I mean, they're outlawing knives, they've outlawed guns already, and now the murder rate is going up, and it's from the refugees.
No, it can't be from the refugees. They're all sweet, civil, polite people from better, more enlightened part of the countries. And it's those evil white people in England that must be doing all this insanity.
Well, that's probably it.
That's got to be it. Quit throwing rocks at minorities, or what do you call them, fugitives, refugees. Excuse me.
I like fugitives. That's a good name. They are fugitives.
Speaking of which, the armada, or whatever you call it, the convoy of illegals have made it to the southern border.
Speaking of fugitives.
What?
No, I just said speaking of fugitives.
Oh, yeah, speaking of fugitives. Oh, yeah, so you're going to have a couple of 300 more neighbors here directly, it looks like.
Well, it seems that we are, yes. The thing that kind of chaps my hide about this whole thing is the activist groups taking lawyers down there to teach them how to get around, basically how to say they need what do you call it?
Coaching.
Well, coaching, but status as I can't think of the word right now. Like as a refugee, basically.
Yeah. Political refugees.
Yes.
Or whatever you call it. Yeah. And another thing, I think it's horrible that they're making these poor refugees suffer the company of lawyers. Shoot, just ease them into the country before you slam dunk them with a damn lawyer. You're going to be lost.
Well, we're supposed to have the National Guard down there, right? Didn't Trump send some down there?
In California, is it the California border or is this Texas?
San Ysidro. So, yeah, that's California.
Okay, well, see, now Moonbeam Brown sent the National Guard just for drug interception, weapons, that kind of stuff, not to stop the illegal invasion. Well,
I mean, hopefully our border patrol can handle it, especially if it's only, 200 of them, 300, whatever.
They'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see, Mr. Bond.
And that's just 300 is a drop in the bucket compared to how many we've got here already.
Yeah, 300. Those 300 probably got ran over by Brazilian other refugees, MS-13, ISIS, Hezbollah. They're all just storming the border. And these poor people trying to get away from Honduras, Guatemala, whatever. They're in the way. They're a speed bump.
Mm-hmm.
But they have lawyers. That's something the other guys don't have yet. They have lawyers at the border. Now, that's some power right there, I'm telling you. But no, Egypt, what kills me about this is that, yes, I went back to Egypt, is that we are willing to blow the snot out of Assad, because we were told that, and I don't believe it at all, that he released chemical weapons on the family members of his own military. We know better than that. Okay. This is a moral outrage. We've got to do something. Well, what about the Christians getting slaughtered in Egypt? All the time getting slaughtered in Pakistan. We are very selective about where we're going to send our money and our troops. Have you noticed that? It makes me mad.
Well, I mean, it's like you said, the military industrial complex. It's whatever. Killing Christians isn't protecting our complex. So they get no help or money.
Yeah. Christians, you're doomed. Physically speaking, because we're not going to help you. Everybody else in the way of the petrodollar, gold, oil, yeah, we're going to come screw your day up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, what is the next thing we have to talk about?
Well, I mentioned this woman on the show before. It's like everything I'm talking about today is California, but I figured this amuses the rest of the country that listens.
Hey, California is something that we all know about California. We all enjoy hearing information. We hate the fact that y'all are so damn screwed up Ronald Reagan state. I don't know what y'all did, but y'all screwed up big time.
Well, I hate that we're so screwed up as well.
But what do you got to say?
Well, I mentioned this woman once before. Her name is, she's an assemblywoman. Her name is Cristina Garcia. She was, for those of you that don't remember, she was a big part of the Me Too movement, sexual harassment, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She was on the cover of Time magazine with a couple other girls because she started it. Well, this lady is, she's a liberal for one, but she has got some issues going on. Let's see here. In addition to the sexual harassment allegations against her, the Democrat from Bell Gardens is facing new controversy after she's already had to take a voluntary unpaid leave of absence following an Assembly Rules Committee investigation into claims by a male legislative aide and lobbyist that Garcia drunkenly groped him and propositioned him. Now Garcia is under the spotlight after Politico reported on Garcia's strange outburst against Asian Americans during a 2014 meeting of the Assembly Democrat caucus. According to Politico, Garcia was angry about an Asian American activist's success in lobbying for the defeat of a proposed repeal on California's ban on affirmative action in college admissions. Garcia is reported to have told her colleagues that this, quote, "this makes me want to punch the next Asian person I see in the face."
Wow. Bruce Lee, where you at, baby?
Yes, this is the tolerant and inclusive Garcia. Let's see here. The Assembly Speaker at the time, John Perez, told Politico that he had to strongly admonish Garcia for a comment. Now, John Perez, he was one of the first openly gay Assembly people in our hallowed halls there in Sacramento.
Not only is he gay, he's homosexual.
Yes, that too. When asked about the comment by the Southern California News Group reporter, Garcia said that she made that remark in a heated emotional battle over affirmative action, and that she quickly realized that her comment was irrational and wrong. Garcia,
it's too bad she can't figure that out on everything she says.
Yes. Garcia reportedly met with Asian Pacific Islander members of the Assembly to apologize in person, where they should have just kicked her ass. But that's not all. Okay, let's do a running count here. She's under investigation for sexual harassment, even though she helped start the Me Too movement. She said she wanted to punch Asian Americans in the face. And now, that's not all. Garcia is also the woman who allegedly called Perez a faggot and a homo in 2014. She has previously made a public apology to Perez for her comments. But, I mean, I bring all this up because she's a liberal, and, the inclusive and the tolerant, and they're so wonderful. Well, look at all this stuff she's done. She's behind the scenes. She's harassing people. She's calling saying she wants to punch Asians in the face, and calling the Perez dude a faggot and homo. So what they say,
that's kind of redundant. Really.
Yeah,
faggot and homo.
Yes,
anyway.
But my point is what they represent on the outside is not what they are thinking on the inside.
No, not at all. No, they are very exclusive. They are very mean-spirited, wicked-tempered. Whereas us, we Christians, we conservatives, we'll tell you that we think what you're doing is wrong, but we're not going to throw rocks at you.
Exactly. And you know what? And this whole thing about the Asian Americans, the reason she was mad at that is because the Asians
they can't drive.
Well, that's part of it, but no, the Asians they wanted to get rid of affirmative action because it was letting a bunch of Hispanic kids into school to take places that they could get into because they have good scores. So that's what
merit should be thrown out so that people of particular colors can take the place.
Well, that's exactly it. That's part of her agenda. She's Hispanic. She wants all the Hispanics to get into college rather than the Asians. So to do so, she's willing to punch them in the face.
Wow. I'm telling you, I hope she gets hold of one of Bruce Lee's descendants. But, this is horrible. I don't know what the stats are about different races and IQs. I think we all can understand and agree that Asians pretty much kick everybody else's ass when it comes to IQ and hard work and doing well in school.
Yes.
So it's better for the country if those who have a better chance of success Go to these schools. They have first dibs. Your skin color is not going to get you anywhere except in maybe a government job. We don't need any more people in government jobs. Oh, speaking of which, quick little thing here. John McCain's son-in-law, conservative pundit Ben Domenech, tweeted Saturday night that the senator who is battling a deadly form of brain cancer asked him to take care of his daughter, Megan. Apparently, John McCain's not doing very well.
Well,
he's to the point where he is begging his son-in-law to take care of his daughter.
Well, I think we all sort of knew this was coming.
Yeah. 81 years old, brain cancer, Grim Reaper's in the closet somewhere. But just want to point that out in case anybody has not heard it. Now you have heard it.
There you go.
Okay.
Breaking news right here on the Denton and Sasquatch show.
Yes. I hope I didn't. Did I interrupt? Did I mess up your flow?
No, not at all. In fact, I think it was time for us to move on to the next thing we're going to talk about.
Okay. Well, it so happens that speaking of politics...
Speaking of cancer...
David Hogg, our favorite little boy who can't stand passing by a mic without talking into it. David Hogg, the gun control activist, now wants to stop elected politicians from speaking at the National Rifle Association. How dare Mike Pence, the vice president, go to the National Rifle Association's convention and speak? David Hogg doesn't want to have any part of that. To the tweet to Mr. Hogg, I love this. To the tweet to Mr. Hogg's, sometimes he's a little child, sometimes he's a full-grown adult. Depends on what the circumstance is, apparently. His 777,000 Twitter followers, 777. Hogg thinks he's God. I don't know if you picked up on that. 777. His 777,000 Twitter followers links to a petition that makes a similar demand of Nick Ayers, the vice president, chief of staff. The Dallas gathering is of the National Rifle Association's political lobbying arm, not the broad membership meeting. But that's ILA. That's the one I'd like to go to anyway. But I don't have time because I've got a job. However, he is trying to force Mike Pence to not go there. We know that he brought pressure down on Laura Ingraham after she allegedly taunted him about his college rejections. I don't think that was very much of a taunt. But, it was Laura Ingraham, and he's a little boy. That day he wasn't Mr. Hogg. He was little Eric. But he didn't have much success in trying to force pressure against the Smith & Wesson company. The investment banks, the manager stock holdings, he tried to force the banks to drop Smith & Wesson, which probably need dropping. I mean, their new handguns aren't nearly as good as they used to be.
I just find it very funny that Hogg, he seems to demand a lot.
Yeah, he does. He should demand his ass in school.
You don't get to demand everything you want. It's not the way it works there, Sonny.
Oh, he's going to pressure everybody to do it his way because we're all keenly interested in what this little kid says.
You mean the way that he was told to tell everybody to do it?
Exactly.
Because
George Soros, where are you?
Before Parkland, I don't remember hearing him saying word one about guns.
No, he was fed. Oh, speaking of guns, did I tell you I have a couple of new weapons?
No, but I always like to hear about it.
I hope what's his name? David Hogg? Eric Hogg? Is it Dave? Yeah, David Hogg, little Davey. I hope little Davey's listening. Hey, Davey, I got two new guns. Actually, three. I got Smith & Wesson 5.86, the old one from 1986. I also got a couple of Uberties, which they make, what do you call them, replicas of the old 1800s weapons. I've got an 1873. It's a single-action Army. It's called the Frisco. Pearl-handled grips, charcoal blue barrel, and it's a pimp gun. Okay. It is. I mean, this is Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch. I don't know if you remember Huggy Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Huggy Bear would carry this thing. But while I was there picking up that weapon, actually that's for my wife. But the manager of the place I went to, he smiled and says, "Hey, I think I've got another one you'd be interested in." He pulled out a Schofield. Now, Schofield is a open break. In other words, you bring it to half cock and you mash down the rear sight, and it breaks open. Like you're breaking a stick in half. and it kicks out the old shells, and you put in new cartridges, blam, put together, and bam, 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 bam. 45 Colt, of course. Staying true to the time.
And you have shot these weapons?
Oh, but yes.
Good man.
Yes. You know, when I was earlier, I was talking about, not earlier in this episode, but earlier we were talking, and I was so ecstatic about getting a 5.86 because I lost one. Well, I didn't lose it. I sold it 25 years ago. I needed some money after my first divorce, and I missed that revolver all these years. Never missed her, but I missed that revolver, and now I've got that revolver back. And I shot that 5.86, but I also shot those two Uberties. Mm-hmm. If anybody wants to buy a 5.86, just contact us at Denton and Show at gmail.com, or you can go to dentonandsasquatch.com and leave us a message on any of the threads there. Go to prepperforms.net and join up. We hang out there too.
You can actually see the weapons if you'd like by going to dentonandsasquatch.com, because I believe you posted pictures of them, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I posted a picture of the 5.86. I don't think I've posted the Uberty pictures. But I do know I think I posted them on prepperforms.net. And while we're at it, with all this insanity we're talking about, if you're not a 3%er original, that's not just any 3%er, but a 3%er original, why not? Join up. We do all kinds of fun things. We do first aid training, shooting training, land navigation, whatever kind of Boy Scout type stuff you can think of, we do it.
It's Boy Scouts for adults.
It is. It really is. And we eat a lot, too. So we have a lot of fun. And so join up. Whatever state you're in, there is representatives there. And make your state grow.
All right.
So, all right. Well, look here, everybody. As you can tell, from Egypt to California to Maine to the southern border, we are doomed. So, Sass, what should we do?
Drink up.
All right. Y'all have a good night. And if we're still alive as a group, we'll talk to y'all next week.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control.